And welcome everybody to Rick Center Swarston on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and even hit the thanks button. And nobody's here yet, so I just said that's the algorithm's happy with me. So it's kind of a surprise live chat. I thought I'd do a couple Mondays here around the draft and all. So when you're watching on replay, you'll know what we're up to. And let's see. So people are just starting to come in now. There's Steve. Man, Steve, I don't know how I thought I'd fool you this time and not tell you what was going on. I just decided about an hour ago, okay, I got a little bit of energy left in me. Not much, but anybody wants to ask questions, they can. We've got some people loading in now. There's plenty to talk about. I have a guess of what you want to know. Probably next Monday, I will do, the pre-draft. And I'm planning on doing a live show during the draft up to the commander's pick, whatever that may be. Maybe 16, maybe something else, but I'll do a live draft on that too. And maybe the next week afterwards, and then take a break again. They don't start off-season camps. They started off-season conditioning today. Today was the first of the voluntary workouts. So Chase Young was there. That's a big deal for stuff we'll talk about. But as far as I think rookie camp is May 12th, and then there's sort of like the OTAs the next couple weeks, and mini camp is June 7 and I think it's 6, 7, 8, and then they take a break until end of July. So probably take almost a 2-month break like that. So we're coming up on the busiest time of year again. I've been busy tour guide, I can tell you that, but trying to do that in the sale and everything else has been long days, to say the least. Oh, wow, I got 11 of you already showing up. All right, Steve, you get to ask the question. Do you see us trying to trade for Buda Baker? I don't know that one. Who's Buda Baker? I know you're playing with you. You might want to ask that differently. I'm still catching up on the draft because I've been so darn busy with this sale. All right, so let's talk about the sale first. It just came out now that the NFL is reviewing the Harris deal. They're betting it out. I expect that to be approved by the NFL Finance Committee, and then, but it's still not signed by anybody yet. And Dan Snider left himself an out to let others negotiate. All right, so Harris is first up on this deal. And if someone else trumps his deal, they can walk away with the team. Although I'm sure Dan Snyder would say, hey, Harris, some guy's going at 6'2". What do you say, 6'3", 6'4"? You ring it up as much as you can. So that's why it's still like that. There were two other bidders, Stevie A out of Canada, who I, traded messages with all weekend, more or less, and he felt that he was in it, but I don't think he is anymore. And then the Brian Davis thing came back. We hadn't heard anything about that. Man, I have heard the wildest conversations about him. From he's got money, backers that they can put all the money up in cash for $7 billion to all the financial problems he's had over the years. I don't think Brian Davis can get approved by the NFL. But the NFL is a bunch of money-hungry whores. So if he really has $7 billion, even though his past is terrible with lawsuits and such, they'll vote it. They don't care. The NFL owners have no moral situation. We've all seen this. They're all about money. That's all they're about. Oh, Bob Baker came in. Very good, Bob. I meant to tell you about this. So I still don't think that the Brian Davis thing is real. I just don't see this one happening. And I've heard some stuff I just can't discuss yet because I haven't proven it, but I don't think so. And I don't think Stephen A can really come up with this one in the end. So I think it's Harris. And we'll know soon, but the NFL is going to vet him out first, and they vetted out some of his stuff before with Denver. So he's off to a good start. So my guess is that Josh Harris will be the next owner of his team sometime, soon. I mean, how it's going to take a few weeks. I mean, the May meetings could approve it. If it doesn't go May, it'll go June. Doesn't really matter on that kind of thing. So that's the ownership in a nutshell. For all the hours I work, I can explain it in 2 minutes. Is the NFL pushing Snyder to sell for 7? Asked Paul. Well, they love it because everybody gets more money when that happens. I mean, everybody's franchises work more. That's why they're entertaining, I guess, this crazy thing. But and I know Brian, would like to be the first black owner in the league, and they'd like to have that happen too. But then again, Josh Harris got Magic Johnson as part of his group, and that's a big one. I'm not, listen, Josh Harris will not be the day-to-day guy on the Commanders. And is that Rails, that his partner, maybe we're still waiting to hear all this kind of stuff. Is Magic going to suddenly be like the team president and such? Might be kind of cool. I mean, Magic's done very well in business. He's no, idiot. So he would be a good one too. And I think a lot of fans would be happy to see Magic here. I mean, it's a different sport, but it'd be pretty cool. So I don't know. There's so much going on with all this. And some of it I think is just meant to clog everything up. And, nothing goes easy. Hey, James from Hickory. Great to see you, so to speak. See your words. Abe, do not recall any other sale of a sports team with such a circus. Welcome to Washington, man. And nothing is simple here. I said it every weekend. I thought we were simple. I thought things were now steaming ahead. And no, it's the good news is this team will be sold. Okay, so that's the good news, and mostly people don't really care who it's to as long as it's not Dan Snyder. So that's the good part of this, and it'll be sold soon. And we pretty much heard the last of Dan Snyder on that. And that part I feel confident in. Which guy it is, I said recently I thought Harris. I'd give him 85% chance to pull this deal out, and I still feel that way. 85, 90. Bill. Best guess what you do at 16. Okay, that's the next big question here. Joey Porter. I say they go corner. Joey Porter. Or they move back. I don't see them moving up. Maybe last year they did great moving back. Picked up some players. But, man, you don't do that every year. So I don't know that they do move back. I'd say take your best player. I mean, Rivera knows he's on a 1-year deal. Basically, he has 2 years left on his contract, but they'll just pay him the last one. So if he doesn't win, he's not here to develop green bananas. He ain't going to be here to eat them. Woo. So I just don't see them worrying about adding all those guys. Trying to get multiple picks and all. And I think Joey Porter. I mean, I like this Fowler as a player, so he would help them. It'd be a good one for them. Could go offensive tackle. I mean, you just have to see. I mean, it looks like quarterbacks are now going to go like the top 4. Man, yeah, that was the amazing part of last year, that no quarterback went early and only one in the first round. And I thought, wow, I mean, they've never done this. They're addicted to quarterbacks because it's the most important position in the league. And so they may go top 4 right away. So somebody good's going to fall to Washington that maybe, wouldn't. So like John Allen, nobody could believe that he was still on the board when he came around. Payne kind of fell a little bit to them on there. So it could happen again, very much. But I don't see him going quarterback. That's for sure. I don't see nobody's asked about Lamar yet. I don't see that happening either. B. Baker likes Porter, says he's a stud. There you go. Steve, do you think we get to see our draft picks on the broadcast this year? No. They're going to go, Washington's on the clock, and we'll be back in 3 minutes after that, or whatever. Go sell beer. Of course. It's like a tradition now. We'd be disappointed if they didn't go to commercial. So Bill's talking about they will get a top 12 non-quarterback. Yeah, at that point, you're getting one of the better players. Listen, they could use help at multiple positions. Do I see him going for that running back that everybody keeps talking about? No, I don't see that. Good player. I mean, I was reading today that maybe he's the second or third best player in the draft. But of course, quarterbacks always move up more than they should. So maybe. But they'll find somebody. Abe saw a video of Payne working out today. He looked fast. Payne's going to hit his prime, man. I thought he had a great year last year. Now he got paid. You hope he doesn't say, "Ooh, I got paid. I can go watch TV now." Please don't do that. I mean, we've seen it before, and that's what Chase Young's now got to sit here and do. Is Ron Rivera just pretty much put it out there to say, "I want to see you at the voluntary works because I haven't seen you before, and we want to make sure that you're interested in doing this." I mean, their opinion, I think, and mine kind of is like, does Chase like being an NFL player more than he likes playing football? There are guys like that. I haven't seen, they want to see the fire in this guy before they offer a 5th-year deal. If they don't offer the 5th-year deal, the next year they could potentially lose Montez Sweat and Chase to free agency unless they want to tag somebody for even bigger money. And of course, new owner will see with that. But it's a risk not giving Chase that 5th year because you could have him under contract and you could make a deal with Montez if you felt that you should. But if you don't give Chase that 5th-year contract now, then you got 2 guys. You got to pick one, and you're guaranteed to lose probably one. Will healthy Chase be better? Well, it can't be worse. But I think he was reasonably healthy for a little while last year when he wasn't playing. He's got to get that fire in him. He's got to get that eye of the tiger, as they say. I think he lost that. He lost track of some of these things. Going to doing commercials when you should have been at workouts, and you're the only player in this team that wasn't. I thought it was a big mistake on his end. Before his second season, and it showed up. He's got to develop some things in his game, or else he's not going to be good enough. Let's see. The corner from Maryland, is he legit? I asked Bob. Can't remember his name. Well, I can't remember his name either, but I know who you're talking about. And I do watch a little Maryland football, given I'm an alum, but not enough to really gauge that. But from what I've heard, yeah. Is there a player worth moving up to 12? Asked Gary. Well, I'd have to see the board that day to do that. Sure, but it's expensive. Ron doesn't like to move up; he likes to move down. I don't see him moving up. I think they'll just hold their breath and wait. They've had chances before to move up in drafts, and they never did it, and lost out getting good players. So, yeah, I don't see that happening. Bill wonders if a defensive end is going a little early in the draft is insurance. If the team takes one, that's an interesting part, but that would be maybe a second or third rounder, I think, more than the first. There. Nobody's got Sam Howell question yet? Wow. Do I think Washington will be on Hard Knocks? Yes, Gregory. Man, I give it. There's only 4 teams out there. I'd love to see it. I mean, I saw Hard Knocks come when Houston was practicing against Washington a few years ago down in Richmond. It'd be cool. I have to admit, it'd be cool to watch. Maybe I get a little cameo time. You'll be able to see me there. Having a draft in KC, Abe says, pretty interesting. Yeah, I think they should move the draft around every year to a different city. And I think it should come to Washington. You can put it on Pennsylvania Avenue, on Freedom Plaza, which is 13th and 14th Streets. Shoot down toward the Capitol. The White House is behind you. Why not? You close off Pennsylvania Avenue, make it a festive area. There's hotels there. The National Mall is harder to get because they don't like to do things for profit companies. You have to be a nonprofit. But everybody's got a congressman that likes contributions. That's how things work in D.C. I'd love to see it here in D.C. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I don't know when we'll get a Super Bowl, if we ever get one, because, But if they get a new dome stadium, sure, why not? Might be a way to get that RFK site by promising those kind of things. You horse trade with the local municipalities. Baker says, do you see Ron signing anyone from the Defenders? They haven't in the past. And come on, the safety is playing for him. Yeah, it's been, 4 years since he played here? You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm getting tired, so I can't remember names. Somebody write the name. You know what I'm talking about. The safety got cut after saying something bad. He joined the Defenders this week. Defenders doing well, doing real well. I mean, it's still minor league football, and I don't watch it a whole lot. I'm busy. Uh, Brian says, I think Dan Snyder is a good owner and shouldn't sell the team. Good one, Brian, but it's not April 1st, it's April 17th. So you're a little late on the April Fool's Day joke. Do you think they'll bring the camp back to Richmond? Asked Kevin. No, I don't see anything there. And uh, when this team cuts a stadium deal, training camp's going to be wherever that stadium is too, as part of a complex. It's part of the way of recouping money and a lot of other things. So I don't think they go back to Richmond at all. I liked Richmond. I thought it worked out very for me and the fans. Didn't work out well financially for the city at all. Took a bath. I could have told them that. Anytime somebody wants to do business with the NFL, they should hire me. For $10,000, I can tell you in a minute why you shouldn't do this. It's very simple. Swearinger. Thank you, Gary. Swearinger is a player I'm thinking of joining the Defenders. The rule is nobody makes money with the NFL but the NFL. Okay? Repeat that to yourself if you ever think you're going into a deal with the NFL. And only the NFL is allowed to make money. And you get to kiss their butt and pay them a lot of money for the honor of doing business with the NFL. And that's how it works. Very few people make money with them. Let's see. Slam and Jammin's here tonight. Okay. With Josh Harris potentially becoming a new owner, what's the number one thing we need to see to earn the fans and local politicians' trust? Gosh, I've been writing about this a lot this week. They need to show that they're not greedy bastards who want all the money. Okay. For politicians, they got to show that a new stadium site would share the wealth with the municipality. Dan Snyder never did that. And the fans have to be shown that they're not ATMs and everything's going. But here's the problem: if somebody buys a team for $6 billion, they need to get the money back too. So why wouldn't ticket prices go up? And as a new stadium, why wouldn't there be personal seat licenses? And so it's one thing to want to do this, but he's going to be a little cornered. So then you maybe give people, things that are non-financial so much. You give people a chance to do things, meet players, perks of this stuff, and that would help a lot, I think. Give out basic stuff like the hog snouts last year were cool. Just stuff like that. It's minor. George Washington said that men would fight, to the death over a piece of ribbon, which he would call the Purple Heart. That's George Washington. And he said those kind of things, ribbons and stuff, incentivize people. Same thing here. I'm surprised nobody's done a Josh Harris deadliest catch thing. That was my first thought is the Cornelia Marie is going to be buying the Redskins. How much are those crabs? Deadliest catch comes back on, I think, in a week. So I'm surprised nobody, because Josh Harris is the captain, in case you don't watch the show. He's one of them. Brandon, if Will Levis is available at 16, should Washington go for him? I don't see that one. I know that they had Hendon in today to look at. It's the only quarterback they brought in. And Hendon, I'm just going to hate because I want to say Herndon all the time. That's going to take me a while not to screw up. Let's see. Gregory says, we get a no owner. Do you see upgrades to FedEx Field's food? Well, that's an easy thing to do. You just bid new people out there. You get rid of Johnny Rockets, and you start bringing in new ones. Look at the Nats. They always bring in a lot of new vendors. And I personally don't want to spend a fortune on food at a game. I'm happy with a hot dog. But some of you love to spend your big money there. So, okay. Matt just read that AP story that the NFL is reviewing. True. So is that a sign that the deal is about complete? I think the deal could be done in the next week as far as signatures. I mean, it's sort of like you ring the bell and say, hey, Stevie A and Brian Davis, what you got? Or else we're going forward with this one. And I don't think they got it. So I think Josh and them will be in the next week. We wish it goes faster. I mean, it's fast as the end. They need the finance committee to sign off on it. And then when they do that and nobody else has got their bid there, then you do that and you move on. Have I been to a Nats game this season? Bob asked. No, I've watched a couple. But, man, it stinks so bad. It's hard to watch. Abe, am I correct that Howe would have been a first rounder if he wanted to come out earlier? You say waiting to come out. I don't know. I thought he might have gone a year before. He might have stayed a year late. So I don't know. If he had come out this year, I don't think he would have been a first rounder. Paul, have I tried buy damn beer? No, I mean, if I get a can, I'm going to stick it on my shelf. Let's see. Oh, here it is. I'm going to get one, and I'm going to put it right next to my big Jack beer, which is on my shelf. Let's see, I put that there so you can see it. Haven't opened this one. And what is this, 1997 or something? So 6. I'm afraid to see what it would taste like now. But yeah, it tastes the bitterness of 23 years or something. It's called. Great idea. They made what they thought was enough beer and they sold out in like 90 minutes. Everybody wanted the can, if nothing else. So I think it was a great idea. And next time I'm out by the park, I'm going to go over to the brewery. Hope I can grab some, or maybe somebody I know will grab one for me. It'd be cool to have as a part of the collection. Yeah. Ooh, I caught up here, right? Ooh, we got a good crowd filtering in. It's off season. People watch the show a little more, just because there isn't as much else out there. So I don't do it every week, but this fall I'm going to have some new stuff on the YouTube channel, and I'll talk about that later this summer. Just trying to do some new things. Hopefully this all works out, and I'll keep covering the team another year, maybe more. We'll see. I have no plans at this point. Thought I was going to retire, and then I changed my mind. So I just can't quit you guys. All right, RB, with all the bad business deals Snider's done over the years, would he still be a millionaire if he hadn't bought the skins? Good question, isn't it? Because I haven't seen. I mean, Snider Communications he sold, and then they got caught, a lot of misdeeds. So he would have been nailed for that there probably, and if he'd been part of that. And then Johnny Rocket sucked, Six Flags sucked. Show me a win. Make me tired of winning. Bob, they'll be selling more Big Dan by Dan cans in 3 weeks. All right, so we gotta get our orders in. Roy, if or when the new stadium happens, most definitely to host the Super Bowl and WrestleMania. WrestleMania, huh? I'm not a wrestle guy, but I know it's cool. If it's a dome, it would be those two in a Final Four. I absolutely agree that a dome, you bring a dome to bring those events here because you can't build a $3 billion stadium without filling it, with a lot of stuff. It can't be 10 football games. It's got to be a lot of other junk, besides the Kenny Chesney concert, or something, a soccer game they're having this year. Why do they keep doing these things right before a season starts, and let the grass get ruined? Last year's field was pretty good, though. It's probably the best year, maybe in FedEx history for grass last year. It rained a lot, though. I've got a new home. I'm trying to grow new grass. So I guarantee you there's a drought this year. This will be a drought. I can just smell it because I want to, grow grass, and it's not going to happen. It's how life works. Am I getting any feedback on former players' feelings on the team selling? Abe asked. Yeah, some, but nobody really wants to get out there too much and get in the middle of all this. At this point, wait till the team sells, and everybody will go, phew, thank God I got rid of that guy. I mean, but they're going to wait until afterwards before they do that. Let's see. Steve has something there. I don't understand it, but okay. Yeah. All right. Somebody was just texting me an update about something. Okay. I actually took a viewer. We did a Abe Lincoln tour today. I'm a tour guide for those of you who may not know it. I'm licensed in DC, and I took one of the viewers and his family around town for the Abraham Lincoln assassination tour. So go to Monumental Thoughts, and if you think you're coming to town, you want to go on a tour, and we'll see what happens. Also, you can hit the thanks button, and maybe I make a few bucks for doing a show tonight. If you'd like to donate money to Rick's cause, because I tell you what, got my new mower here. Let me pull it up. Some of you haven't seen it, but man, does it eat gas? Wow. I mean, it burns that. Well, I have 3 acres to cut, so that's why. But it burns maybe $10 worth of gas cutting grass. So, man, Oh, here it is. All right. So there's my new mower. It's a 180 John Deere. So I like it a lot. It's got definite improvements over the 110 I had from 10 years ago. So, but I'm out there cutting grass like 3 hours, which is fine now, but wait till it's 100 degrees. That'll be a real pain. So hit the thanks button. I appreciate any contributions to the cause, and it lets me do this hour here. Um, and not feel like I've just wasted time in some respects. Need a little cash, that's how it goes. Bob says if Harris gets a team, the city will probably pay for a new stadium. Well, I'm sure they will pay for some. I mean, like FedEx Field, we always talk about Jack and Coke paid for, but the state of Maryland donated, I want to say it was 70 million, and that was infrastructure, roads and sewers and all those kind of things, and that's part of the course. So if they did that, I don't have any problem with that. Does my mower have a cup holder? Asked Steve. Oh yeah, that's a big one. I haven't usually got to stop halfway through anyway to go use the restroom and grab something to drink. But enjoying my new 3 acres, I'll tell you that. I love this house. We're building. We sat there and spent the weekend building steps and stuff like that on the porch, and it gives me something to do when I'm not busy. There's always something to do. Who would I like to see the Washington draft this year? Brandon asked. I'd like to see him get Joey Porter. I think that would be a good one for him. Mark Staref said, bad thing about Snider, says he. And well, Stinky, as we used to call Mark, Stinky. Not that he stank, but I don't know. That's why they called him that. Ex-players like he have a lot more room to talk about it. Let's see. New stadium 2026 draft. That's what Ball Guy thinks. I'm for it at the Wharf. Okay, the Wharf's now got Gordon Ramsay's 2 restaurants, Fish and Chips and then Hell's Kitchen. Can't afford to eat neither one. Man, it's like $45 to park at the Wharf. That's crazy. The old Wharf days, park free. It was a piece of crap. It was an abandoned part of town. Now it's a real nice part for the rich folks. But for native Washingtonians living here, it's not a place we really go because can't afford it. Is it true that Snyders are moving to London? Asked Greg. Yeah, absolutely. They've lived in London really full time now for 6 months. So Dan applied, I read, for British citizenship. Not sure what that's about, but okay, I'm sure it's something to do with money. So yeah, they're gone. I mean, they're not even at. They spent $50 million on a house at Mount Vernon area. It used to be George's land, not his home, and they don't live there. I bet that goes back on the market again soon. Will they get $50 million for it? Probably not. There's a 50 count of $2 million for furniture though. So, would I be interested in selling Mahad? Asked Marcus. Not at this point. Did Cook pay for the land at FedEx? Asked Bob. Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't a gift. He paid for that. I mean, it was an old dairy farm. I actually have the bill of sale somewhere in my computer. I'd have to look for it, but yeah, I've seen the bill of sale for that. Who kicked Dan out of the country? Well, Ball Guy, we all said, you got to sell a team. Nobody talked about leaving the country, but win-win. Fisher cut base on Chase, asked Michael. Ooh, that is such a hard question to ask and answer. I don't know. I'm glad it's not me making the decision. Abe, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. This is what it's all about. Trying to keep me in gas money, I guess. K-Friend, can I be 100% confident the sale is happening? Yes, the sale is happening. Sale is happening. We can believe in such dreams. Steve, do I think a fellow Sunday ticket would be more successful now than anyone in the internet gets it? That anyone with the internet can get it. Okay, because I never have that because I'm at a game or writing about a game or something. But absolutely, the internet's everything. It took about 20 years to reach its potential, but it's there now. Let's see. Yeah, RB, you're right on that. I don't want to discuss that, but you're right. Paul, with the new owner, will John Regan come back to FedEx Field? I doubt it. John's living his own life now. I mean, he might come back to visit. He used to do that years ago. but he's his own cat. Let's see. Hi, okay, Bob. Tell Maria I said hi. They're all old workers at the park, if you see that. Roy, did I see the highlight of former Washington safety DJ Swearing getting a pick six? No, I didn't see that. I didn't watch the game. I was watching the Nats game instead. I just can't get into minor league football too much, even if it's decent. I saw there was a couple NFL coaches at the game. I heard Gruden was on the sideline. I don't know what that's about. What's the significance of Anacostia Park? Could that space be a stadium site? Asked Tyrone. Well, it is a federal land. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Just like RFK, it's just across the river. You could put a stadium there. I've talked about this before, but the problem is the same hurdle. You're gonna have to get the federal government to cough up the land. A little easier maybe than RFK, in that RFK is a lot of people want housing on that site. I don't know, affordable housing there and all. I think there's room for a stadium there. Give up some of the parking lots for that housing stuff on there. But Anacostia doesn't. Well, the Congress Heights station might be near it. I've never measured how far Congress Heights is from that site. Might be a walkable situation. I'm not sure. But RFK's has two of the lines there. They only use one, but you can actually build the second lines right there. So we'd have two colors, because if you're going to have less parking, you got more people coming metro, you really need two lines. You can't put everybody in the same metro spot. That'd be like some of those Nats games years ago where they had massive delays. Nobody wants to wait an hour to get out of there for a metro. Nobody wants to fund the metro? I don't know. I love the metro in this town. I think it's great. I started riding it regularly again. Tomorrow, by the way, at 6 a.m. on YouTube, I have my, my daily show, the 2 minutes, and I rank where I grade all of the 11 Redskins Commanders coaches that I've covered. Gave them all grades. Nobody, well, Gibbs got a great grade, but nobody else. But watch the show tomorrow morning, you'll see it. Bob, let's see. Mike Nolan's head coach of Michigan Panthers. Yeah, I liked Mike Nolan. He was a good guy. Didn't like vanilla ice cream, but good guy. Do I have a problem with the Harris owning the 76ers and the Commanders and the Devils, Mojo? Yeah, I don't like it, but not a backbreaker, but I don't particularly like it. I mean, the Wiz stinks so bad that I'm not worried about the 76ers, but I worry about fans. Suppose the Caps and the Devils are deep in the playoffs in coming years, and here comes Harris wearing his Devils jersey. Be like when Ovi was wearing the Las Vegas Knights jersey. Everybody got mad, like, dude, you're here. But Harris owns those teams and owned them first. It is a weird thing. Virginia making another stadium bid, Paul says. I've heard rumbles of it too. Virginia will be back in this. I don't think they're going to be as stupid as last time, where they talked about $1 billion or talked about Dumfries. I mean, those are dumb ideas. Loudoun County is still a spot that it could maybe end, because there's a metro line there. Bob, I did give Norv a good grade. I know everybody's going to hate it. I gave him a better grade than most. Gave out a couple Fs, if you can guess which coaches those were. Was today a holiday? Yes, ball guy. I was downtown myself, and I realized, today's Emancipation Day. All right, quick history lesson. Abe Lincoln, halfway through the Civil War, looks around at D.C., which is a district of territory that had slaves in it. And he said, I'm fighting a war to end slavery, and yet it's all around me. So he went to Congress, got $1 million, and bought the 3,100 slaves in D.C., and then freed them all. That was Sunday, date-wise. But since Sunday, and it's a holiday in D.C., so since Sunday is already a day off, Monday, today, was a holiday for Emancipation Day. And that's why you have to pay taxes tomorrow as a deadline, because people in D.C. couldn't pay taxes today being a government holiday. So the federal government gives you till tomorrow to do it. So Abe Lincoln let you pay your taxes tomorrow, if that made sense. Do I see a new owner replacing the Ashburn headquarters, Gregory says? Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of talk about that land. There's a lot of land Cook bought there. It's worth $300 million or more. How do you think they're financing this? They'll sell that thing in a minute, as soon as they can. That'll be sold. Is the NFL supporting USFL? I think they're just curious about it. They're not getting in the way. Steve, thank you so much for the donation. He says he saw on the History Channel that some of the relatives believe John Wilkes Booth got away. Here we go again with this stuff. And of course, I don't know, most of you probably have known me talk about this. I am related to John Wilkes Booth and Mary Surratt, opposite sides of the family. And John Wilkes Booth was killed that day, and it didn't get away, and it didn't, all this nonsense. There were 10 people that ID'd John Wilkes Booth, and they brought him back to D.C. and put him in a morgue that is now a pizza parlor, which I'm not supporting anymore because I keep going there, and they have empty tables but no staff, so they can't serve me. So I'm no longer doing that pizza place down the street from the Fords. All right, so that's not real. Just like John Wilkes Booth did break his ankle on that stage floor, he broke it in the swamps when the horse fell on his leg. We just had the anniversary of Lincoln dying. That was on the 15th, a couple days ago. So Mojo says if Harrison Rails can get the team back to RFK, it's bigger than a Super Bowl win. Probably right. I mean, in the long term, because Super Bowl is just a one-time event versus 30 years at a stadium. So you're probably right. What I think the new stadium should have is some kind of bouncing seat technology. Wherever it goes, have that section behind that bench where the bleachers can go up and down. I know they can do this, and that would be cool. So that's definitely on a wish list, I would say. Let's see. Oh, T says he still has a soft spot for OBC 20 years later or Osaka forever. I did go to that game, flew with the team. Saw Osaka. So it was an interesting place, hotter than blazes. Oh, man. That was hotter than DC by far. Yes, Bob, I'm a double conspirator, so don't screw with me. When we get another pizza review, asked Bob. That's a good question. I'm awful busy right now between the sale, now the draft, camps, tour guiding, you name it, cutting grass. But I'll get back to pizza. I don't go too long without it. Predict day one starting O-line, Gary asks. Well, okay, let's just say they don't draft a guy in the first round for an O-line. So let's see. You got Lucas, Chris Paul. Get that right? Chris Paul. The Giants guy at center. Cosme at right guard. And the tackle they signed, getting late, my memory goes, would be the right tackle. Scott, now I can drink Diet Coke like water. I drink a lot of water, but I don't know, something different. Do we have a future Hall of Famer on this team? Asked Kevin. T-Mac, maybe. Outside of that, maybe John Allen, maybe. But it's hard to be a Hall of Famer. It's not the Hall of Very Good. It's a Hall of, are you the greatest player at your position during your time? And I don't see too much of that. But John Allen, maybe. Never know. Gets off Pro Bowls. When does the FedEx lease expire? Asked Greg. It expires the beginning of 2027 season, but they are free to stay. It's just the PG County would own, the stadium in a way, and it would be a different financial setup that this team doesn't want. And yes, I can say PG County because I grew up in PG County instead of Prince George's, that they like to say now. Memorial Day coming up. Yeah. God, I hate that. I was thinking that the other day. Memorial Day be here in about 5-6 weeks, something like that, 5 weeks. And then it's really summer. It shows you how fast life goes. Well, I'll be doing a summer barbecue show. I do have a book I wrote on barbecue. Hold on a second. Let me get it. I don't think I've ever shown this one. All right. Secrets of Caveman Cooking. No, you cannot buy this anymore. There I am. And you might be able to get a used copy on Amazon somewhere. It's been out of print for forever. But I was being a smart guy one day with John Kime, and I said, I can write a cookbook. And John kind of laughed at me because John and I had written a couple books together. So I put up a proposal, and damn, if somebody didn't make me write this thing. So 100 recipes. I have a chef certificate. I used to cook in a steakhouse, all that kind of stuff. So I know how to grill um, on there. So, look for it on the Amazon. I think there's always a couple used copies somebody has. Surprised you on that one, didn't I? Bezos can buy the Seahawks for less and not have all the problems, says Michael. Correct, and including not needing a new stadium. I often wondered if this team really is more valuable than Denver because uh, Denver is 4.65. They've got every fan in, 100 miles in every direction. They got a stadium that doesn't need replacing. Washington's got to rebuild a fan base and to start a new stadium. So why is that worth more? I mean, yes, it's a bigger market. But man, I don't know. I think I'd want it more of a discount than what they're paying. Did I say Lucas? I meant Leno. You're right, Gary. Told you it's getting old, getting tired. It's been a lot of 12-hour days lately. Yeah, how about the contract Philadelphia gave Jalen Hurts? Michael said, yeah, but I mean, it's like Kirk Cousins said years ago. You go for this big money because you're just the next guy, and within so long you'll be the second, third, fourth paid guy. Ball guy, thank you, ball guy. You kicked in some money. I can actually fill up a gas tank with that for the mower. They told me to use ethanol kind of thing or non-ethanol, whatever it is. It's like $4.50 a gallon instead of regular gas. Said the mower will run better. We'll see. Have I had any good crabs yet? Asked Steve. No, it's too soon. I mean, crab season starts April 1st, but they're still down to the mouth. And like I looked at crab meat today at a place I buy it from, and it said, where was it? It was one of the South American countries. It was where the crabs was caught off of, and I don't eat that. I like Maryland crabs, so I'll just wait. I don't usually get them until Memorial Day or so. Will I be live during the draft, RB? Yes, I will be live during the draft through the Commander's pick, and then I got to do stuff. But I'll do that. Next Monday, I'm going to be doing a show. We'll talk draft more. I'll be ready, better prepared. And we'll do that draft night. I got a new TV, well, an old TV, but my new den, my new home, I got a TV right next to me so I can see what's going on. A lot easier than last year. All right, Bob's got to get up early for work. Oh, come on, Bob. Yeah, I'm kidding. We got about 20 minutes left of the show. Do I think Lamar Jackson will be traded during the draft? Asked Paul. No, because I think real top teams are going to draft a guy instead. Cheaper, among other things. I mean, Lamar wants big money. So the top 4 teams looking for quarterbacks will probably go in the draft. So I don't think so. And if you want to trade for him after the draft, then you don't have to pay that pickup for a year. So I could see that. Any plans for Seasons of Discontent draft special? Steve asked. No, but we are changing the show. It's going to be out this fall in a different form. We're going to do a few more Seasons of Discontent, but then we're going to change it to Matt and Rick's Secret Show or something like that and do it a little differently for the fall. RB, is Sam Howell the real deal? Yes. Sam Howell is the real deal. I mean, he's not, Aaron Rodgers, but I think he's good enough. I have no problem watching them play him. Liberty and Hercules. Woo, like that. EB is the best thing that's happened to us. Well, I mean, yes, in a vacuum of all the things that are going on, sure. And he may be, anyway. They're going to rip through the NFC East like Allen Iverson on steroids. Woo, okay. As long as you don't talk about practice. Practice. Greg, is this Josh Harris bid going to be easy for the NFL to approve? I think so. And you also have a local in Rails who can help with a lot of local politicians. He's got some favors, chips to call in there that people owe him. And, who doesn't want magic? So I think it's a no-brainer. I think we just, maybe we're a week away or so from something there. EB is going to be head coach by week 10, says Michael. Well, that means the team is like 3-6. So if that's what you want, and then they might get a different head coach next year. I mean, I'd like to see him try and do something this year. They got enough talent to make the playoffs, I think. So why not? Oh, Liberty and Hercules is laughing at me now. Naughty, naughty. set me up and then laughed at me. Okay. All right. So let's see, 8:45. All right, let's do 15 more minutes. And then as you can tell by my eyes, I'm going to go rest. It's been a lot. If you saw my page, Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube and also Rick Snider's Washington on Twitter, I posted my step count from last week at 105,000. Whew, that one hurt a couple times. So I'm still trying. I had to go on tour again today. So maybe tomorrow I can goof off. I'm gonna ride my mower or something. What happened to Congress going after Dan, Kevin? Well, they basically said, if you go away, we're not going to worry about it as much. And the Republicans took over the House committee, and they didn't want to bother with it, whatever reason. So that's what happened there. But I have to say, the women that went after Dan for all those allegations that went on really were the impetus. Because it's like I say with your taxes. You don't want to cheat on something stupid on your taxes, minor, because if the if the IRS catches you, they're also going to get us, what else you doing wrong, and then they're going to really find something with you. That's what happened here. Finally the deals about allegations, mistreating women, had the House committee suddenly go, what else is up, and then everything went, and it forced the sale. So those women held strong, and they didn't win a lawsuit, at least not yet, but they got satisfaction of Dan going. That's why you don't cheat on taxes, man. You don't want the government looking at you and seeing what else you got. At least I don't. I mean, I'm not cheating on my taxes in case the IRS is watching. I already filed mine. Okay, ball guy, you're being duped. 20-something years ago, a guy from Moco who grew up rooting for the team has now become an owner. Okay. Yeah, the new guys they're locals. And they always say, oh, it's so great, we'll be a local owner in the team. Had a local owner in the team, and it sucked. The Canadian did pretty well. Cook. Maybe you want to go with Stevie A. I promised Stevie A I'd learn his name and how to spell it. Should by the team, and I've worked on it. It's Steve, Steve. I'm a joke. But if he really does buy the team, I really do have to learn how to say and spell his name. Season tickets were a business expense. Yeah, Michael, sure they were. Did lots of business there. Oh, well, that's how the suites and all get sold. You don't think those things don't get written off? How long would it take for the NFL to approve a new owner, Paul asked? It could make the May meetings. I would give it a fair chance. Yeah, I mean, and listen, they don't have to all be together to vote on this. They got Zoom now, so they could just call a meeting if it has to go a little later for whatever reason. They can do that, but I would think fully by June we could do that. Okay, yeah, Michael, you're doing about as well as I am on this spelling on there. But Stevie A showed me how to phonetically say his name. He wrote it out for me, and I still screwed it up. But there was a guy named Blagojevich. Remember him from Chicago, who ended up going to prison, politician there. And my daughters thought I just was screwing around and wouldn't say his name right. But really, it took me a long time to say Blagojevich. And then a guy, gets thrown in jail. Or Kosciuszko, who is a general back in Revolutionary times. It looks nothing like how it sounds. So my father-in-law, who's Polish, taught me that one. So I hate names that are multi-syllables. I just can't do. 70 chips here. All right. Harris and Rail sitting together courtside 76 games. Well, why not? I mean, they both own the team. I don't hold that against them. I just think it's weird to have an outsider owning competing teams with this town. But, the 76ers and the Wiz just sucks so bad. It's hard to get up emotional about that. Ball guy, yeah, didn't know politicians go to jail. Yeah, once in a while. There used to be a majority control owner, Edward Bennett Williams with the Redskins. I think it was 66. He got George Preston Marshall's basic proxy because Marshall was sick. And he held on to it until Cook finally became the owner full-time in the late 70s. And so Edward Bennett Williams was at the review on the autobiography on him was called The Man to See. was such a powerful figure. He's the guy that hired Bobby Bethard. And Nixon once said, if I had had Edward Bennett Williams as my lawyer, I wouldn't have left the presidency. I've been absolved. That guy was that powerful. Really interesting guy. Gets overlooked in Redskins history between Marshall and Cook. And I was asking Dan Daly, an old colleague of mine from the Times, how impactful was George Preston Marshall? Because I wrote a column saying Snider's burned all the goodwill. Redskins owners used to own this town. They get whatever they wanted. Cook, all the crazy stuff Cook did and his wife did. Nobody called him on it at all. And George Preston Marshall was just as big. He married a movie star, moved in a lot of circles. He was actually a Democratic convention, delegate. I mean, he had a lot of power too. And Edward Bennett Williams did. And so Snider's the first guy that burned all that goodwill and power on there. Ball guy, ever been to Griffith? Nah, a little bit before my time. Because the team moved in 61 to RFK and I was born in 60. So no, didn't get that. I've seen it. I mean, then they built Howard University Hospital over it. And then he tore that down recently and built another hospital. I think it's a MedStar. I'm not sure. I haven't been by. That part of town is totally flipped on there. All right, 8 minutes. If you want to send in your appreciation and thanks, I always appreciate that. More people, if you're watching on replay later, more people watch on replay than watch live. I don't know why, they just do. I think last show we had like 600 people watch. So I do appreciate everybody watching. You can, as soon as this show finishes, it goes into the archive and you can watch it anytime you want. So I never do, but you can. And if you're watching then, I guess you can hit the thanks button. I don't know how that works then. Daniel, I believe the new stadium will be built in Virginia. Your thoughts? Man, it's a good one, Daniel. I mean, I think RFK is there for the getting, and it would be the best one probably to get. Not saying they're in a million hurdles, but so is everything. So I think RFK right now I'd make a slight favorite. And Maryland's, they've got the land in Maryland to build it if they want to there, and Maryland's got a plan around it. Let's see what Virginia's money look like and where are you talking. I still think it should be inside the Beltway. America's gearing back into the cities, not driving far out. And you have to think about this stadium being around 2050 or whatever. I won't be. I don't care where they put it because I probably won't be covering a team in 5 years. Maybe I will be. I don't know. But if they are, I'll get a helicopter and go out wherever it is. Freeman Hospital. Is that what it's called, Paul? I didn't know that name. I know that they had a new one. New stadium needs to have bouncing stands, Alex said. Yeah, I just talked about that a few minutes ago. I know you can do it. So that would be really cool. And I think people would like it and they pay extra to do it. So why not? Daniel, problem is expansion, no room at RFK site. Well, true. You'd have to, I think in a deal that you would have to make to get RFK, and you're looking straight at the stadium on East Capitol Street, everything on the left that used to be parking lots would be deeded to the city for, housing and whatever, all these things they want. The right side down by the river, I think could stay as parking, and that would be the tailgate section and all. But it's not about tailgate, it's about transit, about mass transit, And listen, in a few years, you're going to be wearing goggles and 5G, and you're going to feel like you're in the huddle. The NFL is getting close to this. They'll wire up all the players with all the doodads, and you'll feel literally like you're on the field. So why would you go to a stadium to watch a game when you can do that? There's a lot of cool stuff coming technology-wise. Daniel, Magic Johnson owns TGI Fridays. Okay, I knew he owned a lot of stuff. So do you want a TGI Fridays at the stadium? I don't know, man. I mean, I want to watch the game. It would take a while to get TGI Fridays, unless it's just a counter of food. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, at least the food would be better. You get potato skins, something like that. I haven't eaten at TGI Fridays in a while. They used to have the bucket of bones with ribs and chicken. Yeah, it was awesome. That was before I had a health issue and made me stop eating those things. Did I give Ron a grade for tomorrow's show, RB? Yes, I did. And you're probably going to hate it. I know I'm going to grade Ron and Norv a little higher than most people probably would. Of course, Gibbs is Gibbs. He had the best grade. And there's a couple Fs out there. I think it's real easy to figure those out. Actually, I think there's 3 of them. There's another one. And I did interim coaches too. So T. Rowe, Coach Rabinski, he got a grade. And Bill Callahan got a grade too. So I did 11 guys that I've covered personally that was the coach of the team. Yeah, Brandon, no spoilers on that. No bingo callers. They don't get graded either. All right, let's see. I got 5 minutes and it's 15% battery left. So we'll see what happens first. I might be saying boop, and that's it, on all that. But I just thought I'd do something different. Once in the off season, you'd like to not, just talk about some other things besides the news. Yeah, Michael, you might be figuring one out too. Daniel wants to know, Stevie or tackle at 16? Well, see who's on the board. I would go Stevie first. Wouldn't surprise me if they traded back, but I don't think they should. Steve, will the league ever have the technology to get the refs to figure out if it's pass interference or not? Nah, not really. That's a judgment call. What would be cool if you're wearing that headset and all those sensors are going on and all, if they could somehow let you feel a hit, like this guy going, bam, Sean Taylor knocking a snot out of you. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Do you think you'd do that? Would you be willing to suit up at home, put the sensors on, put the goggles on, and have Sean Taylor come and knock you out? How many of you are going to put up with that one? You do it once maybe, but you wouldn't do it 30 times a game or whatever. But that'd be cool. I think the next stadium should have some kind of technology park, things like to see how fast Darryl Green really was. Even things like that, the on-field experiences, they're coming. Alex, think baseball should expand again? No, stink now. I don't have enough good players. Joe, does Harris still have much regular presence in D.C.? Well, I don't travel in the same circles, Joe, as Harris does. I mean, he's, I eat at the Golden Arches. He owns the Arches or something like that. I mean, it's very different. It's like the guy said, they've got McDonald's All-Americans and we eat at McDonald's. That's pretty much Harris and I traveling in different circles. Daniel, what would you do if Dalton Kincaid is there at 16? I'd pass. Yeah, I'd pass on that one. Good player. I feel like Ken Beatrice at times were, what do you think of this player? You're next. Ken Beatrice, many of you probably followed. He was really the original Sports Talk guy before Sports Talk came to town in 93, I think it was, which I now work at 106.7 The Fan. I write for them. So you can go to Odyssey.com and read my stuff. And Ken was a great guy. Could talk the ears off a donkey. But so whenever Ken came around the press rooms, the rule was keep your eye on the screen and just say, "Hi, Ken, how you doing?" Because if you looked up and engaged him, you were going to listen to 20 minutes of his analysis on something you could care less about. So, we liked Ken. It's just, man, he didn't have time for that kind of thing. We are actually busy. And even more so now with social media. Those guys never get a break. Daniel, do I think Eric will pass due to his offense being tight end heavy? I don't think that's why he would, because they don't have a standout tight end exactly. There's some guys that have a lot of potential, but I think they'll focus more on their receivers this year. And they'll run some. I mean, they're going to pass more because everybody does. Ooh, the low batteries light just came on and said your Mac is ready to drop dead. And hey, it's an hour. I did the hour. How you like that? That bell sucked. There you go. So, hey guys, I hate to say it, but I got to go before the thing just goes to black on this. So thank you everybody for coming. Thank you, Brandon, for coming. I'll be back next Monday night. But hey, there's 2 shows, every morning, 6 a.m. on YouTube. And usually 5, 6 o'clock, somewhere around in the evening. I kind of wait and see what happens during the day on there. I don't think Nats and Maz and King go deal, Paul. Not that I know of, but maybe they have today. But I appreciate everybody coming. Thank you, Daniel. And everybody supporting the show. Thank you so much for that, too. We're going to have some new changes this fall, too. So you'll see lots of stuff here. I appreciate everybody following me on this. I am the longest sports writer in DC at 45 years because I got nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. So this is what I do in my life. So I appreciate everybody coming, and I will see you again next Monday. So bye, everybody.